No one told us how to use our brain when we were a kid. So anytime an emotion came up, our brain did whatever it needed to do with it, right? So, you know, it's got this protection mechanism, right? It's got this negativity bias. It's supposed to protect us from doing dumb stuff to kill ourselves, like Travis Pastrana jumping out of a plane without a parachute and then putting it on midair. Somehow he overrides that circuit. But the whole point is that, you know, for everyone, there is a point where your brain is doing more than it should. I mean, it's literally supposed to keep you alive and keep you safe, and that's it. But what happens is when you get scared, it goes, okay, let me help you with that. Oh, you get worried. Okay, let me help you with that. You feel bad. Oh, let me help you with that. Now it's protecting you from things you don't need to be protected from, right? So the leads don't suck, or I hate when I get cold called, right? People, or I hate cold calling. It's really you just saying, I'm afraid to pick the phone up. I'm afraid of rejection. I'm afraid of not being good enough, okay? And as soon as that comes up, you've got to acknowledge the feeling, and then you've got to work on being mindful. And so mindfulness is nothing more than stopping and identifying what that feeling is, and then closing your eyes and focusing on your breathing and just focusing on being in the present. That's it. Just focus on the here and now. If I think about the past and all the crappy things that happened, I get depression, I get anxiety, right? I think about the future and what could happen. I get fear. I get, anxiety and fear, right? Depression and sadness, fear and anxiety. But if I'm just focusing on the moment right now, I can't feel any of those things. Okay, but
Right.
the thing is, take a while. Your brain's going to fight you. It does not want to make the change. But that is how you attack that problem, to answer your question, and start working on it and start addressing the problem. And then it requires practice as well, right? You've got to sit down. And so I send people to the mindful movement. I think I may have shared that with you a while back. I don't know, but
Yeah.
The mindful movement, and they've got 2-minute mindfulness sessions. They've got all night mindfulness sessions. But you know, the key here is taking back control from your brain, right?
Yeah.
I was talking to somebody that she goes, I don't get mean until somebody makes me mean. I'm like, well, nobody makes you mean, right? I don't get, my son used to come home from school, my youngest daughter, people annoy me. I'm like, okay, well, you're letting people annoy you. You know what I'm saying? And so we can't blame it on external sources, external experiences. We've got to realize that it's happening from the inside, and then we've got to take control of it. So what I tell people to do is, 5 minutes a day, right after you get up, middle of the day, right before you go to bed, set alarms on your phone to remind you. Do a 5-minute mindfulness meditation. Stick in your AirPods. Do any of them, and then in addition to doing that, going ahead and every time something comes up that triggers you, stopping and becoming mindful and relaxing, and just teaching your brain not to go ahead and be triggered by those things. And eventually, like, your brain's going to fight you. In fact, if I were to tell most people to sit down and chill right now and start becoming mindful, their brain would be going all over the place because it doesn't want to be controlled. But the more you practice it, the more brain has to listen because it's not in charge. And so you start rewiring your brain, right? We call it neuroplasticity. And I'm telling you, after a week, it'll get better. After a month, it'll get incredibly better. After 2 months, most of it should be gone.